Let's learn about Satan today.
I have not been on YouTube in a really long time. I had a huge video planned for my comeback, but I decided that what I'm about to talk to you about today is way more important than what I was going to talk about. Let's talk about Satan. As Christians, I feel like it's really easy to fall into the trap that the Bible is like a book and we get caught up in stories. But we got to remember that these aren't stories. This happened. Jesus was real. Noah was real. Adam and Eve are real. Satan is real. And it's really easy to get into that Halloween mode. Satan is this red figure with horns and a pitchfork and a tail. But it's so much deeper than that. There's so much more fabric to who Satan is. And we have to know who Satan is, and we have to know how he uses his powers and devices so that we know when he is trying to trip us up and tempt us. That is what I am going to talk about today. Before we can learn how to defend ourselves against him, we really have to understand who Satan is and where he came from. So we're going to go through some basic facts. 1. Satan is a real being. In Matthew 4:10, when Jesus is up on the mountain, he is tempted by Satan. He calls him by name, Satan. He is real. He is so real, even though he doesn't feel real. 2. God is the only internal, self-existent being represented in the Bible. It's so hard for us as humans to grasp our minds around time, but God has always been. Isaiah 41:4 and Isaiah 45:6-7. 3. God created everything. God created all of it. Colossians 1:16-17. So if God created everything, that means Satan is a created being. Satan was created by God. Wait, hold up. Are you saying God created evil? No! Everything that God created was very good. When we read the creation story, it's like, and God said it was good, and God saw it was good. Everything God created was good. So that means Satan was created good. But what happened? Free will. Satan was created good, and Satan was given the right to decide. How Satan behaves is Satan's choice. Everything created by God is given freedom to obey God or not. God did not create evil, but he did create a world in which evil could exist. So, what's the story of Satan? We can read about what happened to Satan in Revelation 12, verses 7 through the end of it, basically, but we're going to focus on the upper half of that. There is a war. Satan is fighting Michael and his angels. Satan was also able to deceive heavenly beings. I think this is very important because he has deceived other heavenly beings into following him. As we can see in verse 7, now a war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. I think it's very important for us to understand that Satan not only deceives us, he's able to deceive other heavenly beings, and he did. He had followers. Satan and his followers rebelled at some point, and that caused them to get cast out of heaven. They were on earth for a very limited amount of time, which we can see in Jude 6-7 and 2 Peter 2:4-5, and now they're in hell. There are some very interesting theories on why Satan hates us so much. We can see in Hebrews 2:14-18 that God doesn't give any help to angels that have sinned. Christ died for us, not for angels. God sent his son for humans, not for the angels. This is why I think Satan hates us so much. In Matthew 25:41, it says, "Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.'" The fire has already been prepared for them. They can't receive God's forgiveness. Also, Satan hates God, but Satan can't do anything to God, so who's he going to hurt? He's going to hurt God's family. That's us. And this is just an idea, and this is all my opinion, but this is why I believe that Satan doesn't Satan has such a great hatred towards us. And whenever I dug into this and tried to wrap my head around it a little bit, it made me understand why he's after us and how I can fight back. So now let's get to the meat of this. Satan is still active. He is still here on earth, and he is still trying to take God and Jesus down. However, his activities have restriction, and we cannot be tempted beyond what we are capable of handling. 1 Corinthians 10:13. God has this restriction placed on Satan. We can withstand Satan, but it takes the whole armor of God to do this. Ephesians 6:11-13 and James 4:7. That is why it's so important to pour your heart into God and his word daily, because we cannot defeat the enemy unless we are prepared to defeat that enemy. Guys, Satan knows that sin results in death. Since he has this restriction placed on him, he has to entice us. This is why sin looks so good, and this is why sin is so desirable. If sin didn't look good, we wouldn't fall for it. And sin is what separates us from God, so Satan has to make sin look fun, pleasurable, exciting. Everybody else is doing it, so we must do it too. He entices us with the lust of flesh and the pride of life. This includes desires of the body, covetousness, lust, and this includes the desire of the human ego itself. We want to fulfill our own wills and passions. We are selfish human beings. Sin looks so good because Satan knows he has to make it look good. We must be aware that Satan knows our weaknesses. Satan knows just where to hit us. He knows what is going to make us break. And knowing that now, I feel as though I have such an easier time fighting back. I can sit, and whenever a situation hits me, it's like something inside me is like, yeah, it hurts for a moment. Or I am tempted for a moment, but then something overcomes me, and I'm like, wait a minute, no.
No, Satan, you ain't getting me.
I know what this is. You know how to hurt me, and this is you trying to hurt me. Guys, Satan doesn't want us up here. He wants us down here with him. He wants us to rot in hell with him. We have to know him and know his devices and know ourselves and know what he's going to use to tempt us so we can fight back. We have a choice. We don't have to burn in hell with him and his angels. And as long as we are living, there is hope for us. I pray that anyone who watches this takes the time to try to learn more about Satan. And I know it's such a weird topic to just let's learn about Satan today.
Let's learn about Satan today.
I know it's it doesn't really cross your mind. And maybe that's just another one of his tricks.